I can actually build a persona using AI or give it a persona if I have one, and then give it a page. And the prompt sort of wrote itself after I realized like this might be an opportunity. To what extent does this page meet or not meet the information needs of this persona? You take a full page screenshot, give it a web page, and if the persona is accurate, it'll tell you. See, the gap analysis is an excellent use case for AI because human brains are not very good at saying what's not there. Daniel Kahneman wrote the book Thinking Fast and Slow, and he said, what you see is all there is. It takes an expert conversion strategist to look at a thing and say, well, that's missing from this page. But AI has no trouble at all. So that was one of the moments when I saw, oh, I can write a prompt that will audit key pages to find, unanswered questions, unaddressed objections, pages that lack supportive evidence, unsupported marketing claims.
Welcome to AI and Marketing Unpacked, where we simplify AI for impactful marketing. I'm your host, Mike Alden, here to guide you through the world of artificial intelligence and its transformative impact on marketing strategies. Each episode will break down AI concepts into manageable insights and explore practical applications that can supercharge your marketing efforts. Whether you're an experienced marketer or just starting to explore the potential of AI, this podcast will equip you with the knowledge and tools you need to succeed. So tune in and let's unlock the power of AI together. Greetings, program. Welcome back to AI and Marketing Unpacked, where I selfishly use this time to pick the brains of experts at keeping up with and integrating or layering artificial intelligence into social media, content, advertising, search, and other areas of digital marketing. Oh, and you get to learn too. Subscribe to be shown how to prepare yourself and your brand for this AI revolution and come out ahead. Now, have you ever wondered why some of your content just doesn't perform as expected, no matter how much effort you put into it? Identification and management of content gaps often elude even the most experienced marketers, leading to wasted resources and missed opportunities. Traditionally, pinpointing these gaps has been a substantial challenge, requiring extensive analysis and sometimes leading to imprecise conclusions. Enter the power of artificial intelligence. AI isn't just transforming industries, it's revolutionizing how we analyze and optimize our marketing strategy, making it a critical tool for any marketer aiming for precision and effectiveness in their content planning. And that's exactly what Andy Crestodina, our guest today, and a seasoned digital marketing strategist, specializes in. As the chief marketing officer and co-founder of Orbit Media Studios, Andy leverages AI not only to detect, but also fill the crucial gaps in content strategies effectively. With his decades of insight, Andy will share powerful tactics that help marketers enhance their content impact through smart AI-driven decisions. Hey, Andy, welcome to the show.
I love that, Mike. What energy. I'm ready. I'm pumped. This is going to be such a great conversation. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming on. There's so much that I can't wait to literally learn from you. But first, start off, if you don't mind, just kick things off and share how your journey in digital marketing led you to embrace AI technologies.
Yeah. So, co-founder of a digital agency focused on websites going back to 2000 and 2001. So many, many years of SEO and analytics and also content strategy, blogging, email marketing, social media, influencer marketing. When AI comes along, it was obviously going to be a big change. And everyone kind of looked at it and saw it. And I knew I had the choice right in that moment to uh, embrace this and be ready to meet my audience's information needs, knowing it would be a big topic, or kind of defer, wait, or see if it's in the, you know, product development pipeline for the tools I use. So I jumped in. And more or less what I discovered is that I can get some fantastic results, mostly by using AI to do the things that I've always done. Help with SEO and help with analyzing data and help with content strategy and help with better understanding an audience and help with conversion optimization. So I am all in and have spent hundreds of hours researching options and refining prompts. And now I'm doing lots of speaking and teaching and writing and recording on AI topics. And I think we're going to jump into some of my favorite tricks today.
Yeah, and I love that you dove in right from the start. I'll be honest and say I did not. I was very reluctant at first. It wasn't until I heard Paul Reitzer say that AI is not going to replace your job as a marketer. Marketers who use AI are going to
Hmm.
replace you. And that stopped me cold. And it was probably, I don't know, late 2023 that I heard him say that. And I was like, oh man, that
Yeah.
feels right to me. That feels very prescient to me. So that's when I started to dive in. And what I'd love to know from you Because we're talking about content gaps. So when
Mhm.
did it actually occur to you, or what sparked your interest in using AI to identify content gaps?
Yeah, so we build lots of websites. They're almost all B2B lead generation websites. And so part of my job is to help my team and help clients build pages that convert visitors into leads. Pages convert visitors into leads when they answer the visitor's top questions and address the visitor's objections. And they use evidence to support those answers and then give a call to action. So the structure of a high performing B2B lead gen page is answer evidence, call to action. What good is AI? Hey, take it. Wait a second. I can actually build a persona using AI, or give it a persona if I have one, and then give it a page. And the prompt sort of wrote itself after I realized like this might be an opportunity. To what extent does this page meet or not meet the information needs of this persona? You take a full page screenshot, give it a web page, and if the persona is accurate, it'll tell you. It's very see the gap analysis is an excellent use case for AI because human brains are not very good at saying what's not there.
Mm.
There's a Daniel Kahneman wrote the book Thinking Fast and Slow, and he said, "What you see is all there is." It takes an expert conversion strategist to look at a thing and say, "Well, that's missing from this page," but AI has no trouble at all. So that was one of the moments when I saw, oh, I can write a prompt that will audit key pages to find unanswered questions, unaddressed objections, pages that lack supportive evidence, unsupported marketing claims, weak calls to action, just, and so a lot of my prompts after I trained it on the persona look like tiny blog posts about best practices for a thing. And then you give it the prompt and you give it the thing and you say, how could this be a better thing? And it gives you back stuff that some of it's useless. Like, well, I purposely didn't address that. It's not my audience, or there's good reasons why I didn't, you know, check that box. But there's almost always one or two that, you'll see them and you'll be like, oops, how did I miss that? How did I miss that? I need to include that. And I can give you tons of examples.
Well, first, thanks for pointing out that through your prompt, you're actually demonstrating a best practice there in itself, which you're actually giving the AI a lot of information on what to do, what not to do it this way, do
Mhm.
it that way. Those instructions that we might give an intern, any kind of
Exactly.
a solid SOP, and say, this is what I want. Because the more time you invest up front in instructing, the better the results are going to be. But talk to us about kind of the technology and the processes behind how the AI identifies these kinds of gaps.
Yeah. So it's key to first give it the persona or to let it create a persona for you. So the persona prompt here, I'll give you I'll just kind of summarize it here. We can
Mm,
put it in show notes if you want, but it sort of sounds like this. Build me a persona of a job title with certain roles and responsibilities at a industry, company size, or geography. These are like fill in the blank. This person's looking for help with a challenge or problem or task, and they're considering your product or service. Okay. So that's basically like the general idea behind, we're training it on who we're talking to. And then I ask for four specific things. Tell me their hopes and dreams, their fears and concerns, their emotional triggers, and list out their decision criteria for selecting my company or a company like mine or a company in my category. That gives you this persona and it's partly wrong, which is fine. Don't fix it. I joke like AI might as well stand for assuming correct because it's definitely not going to be perfectly accurate on the first shot. So you have to go refine it, improve it. Our mutual friend Ardith Albee looked at my persona prompt and was aghast. She's like, Andy, you don't know if that's accurate. Ardith, you're right. I agree. I have to improve it, check it, validate. Anyway, so now you've trained it on the audience. If you don't do that first, you're not going to get anything good. I honestly believe that a lot of people are using AI in a very lazy way. Until you give it your target audience and information about who you're trying to reach, AI might as well stand for average information. I play with the term with the letters A and I. AI really it is basically average information. It ingested
yeah.
the internet and it comes back and gives you the summary of the internet. It's generalizing what it found. So you have to train it on your audience and then talk to it about content strategy, blog posts, calls to action, web pages, whatever, anything. So now in the same prompt where you created and then improved the persona it gave you, the next prompt is when you give it that full I like to use a full page screenshot I use a Chrome extension called Go Full Page, and it takes a giant picture of the screen, like the whole thing. It's a There's some flaws with it because what if there's tabs or expandable accordion content areas? But so none of this is perfect. But that next prompt, the audit my page prompt, great for home pages. I can't think of a reason why everyone shouldn't do this like today. It is like the prompt is pretty detailed. And again, I can share, but it says, you're a conversion optimization expert, skilled in evaluating pages against their ability to inform and persuade. The most compelling, highest converting web pages share some common traits. These are the best practices for B2B service pages. The header clearly indicates the topic of the page. The copy answers questions, addresses objections. The order of the messages aligns with the visitor's prioritized information needs. The copy uses supportive evidence to support the marketing claims, testimonial statistics, case studies, awards. Subheads are clear and specific and meaningful. The page connects on a personal level with human elements like faces and names. It leverages cognitive biases. It provides compelling calls to action. So my prompt is like it's it's everything I've learned in 23 years of visitor psychology experience. And then it comes back and then the bottom of the prompt basically says, create a list showing the ways in which the copy does and does not meet the information needs of the persona. Suggest changes that would make it a more helpful, more compelling, higher converting page. So I did this the other day with a company. It's a school. It's a chiropractic school. And they came back and said, you know, this page failed to tell the visitor how long the program is. Oops.
Wow.
Wait, we didn't mention it's a 3-year program. It's sort of, yeah, the persona's number one concern is this an accredited university? It did say it was accredited, and AI pointed out it did say that. But when we look closer at the page, again, assuming correct, you have to look closely. You have to look over its shoulder all the time. We did mention that it was accredited, but that was almost the last thing on the page. So before the end of the meeting, I'm doing this with the client on a call. They updated the page. It's like, click refresh. We fixed it. Now, the very first thing on the page is become a chiropractor in 3 years from a top accredited university. Like, that's actually why they're on the page.
Mm.
So all of our pages have gaps. It's very hard to find a gap unless you're an expert conversion optimizer with 24 years of experience. But AI is a skills leveling tool, and you no longer need 24 years of conversion optimization experience to make that a higher converting page. You can just use that persona prompt and that conversion prompt and, take or leave whatever it suggests, but it's likely there's a few things in there that will move the needle.
I love that. AI is a skills leveling tool. I don't know if you said that before. It's the first time I've heard that. Appreciate that perspective. I'm going to clip that out as a quote graph, in fact. But what are some of the more surprising content gaps that AI has kind of helped you identify? We chuckled at the 3-year program. That sounds like it, like
Sure.
mandatory information. What else have you unearthed?
There's one trick you can use where humans could not do. It's an AI only method, which is when you say, what are the most uh, what are the most important topics that are the least likely to be covered by the big blogs in my industry? It'll tell you. What are the counter narrative opinions that are least likely to be discussed by thought leaders in my industry? It will tell you. In other words, AI can do gap analysis not just on your page, but it can do gap analysis on all the work ever created in your entire category, like your whole vertical. It's
Wow.
read everything in your vertical, and it'll tell you which things are least likely. In other words, what's most likely to get traction on social, trigger conversation. I have some prompts that are sort of like this. Tell me some provocative but mundane, almost trivial topics that people in my industry feel very strongly about. It'll tell you like exactly what topics are not controversial, but very, very triggering of engagement. It's like incredible. Like it just shows you, like it just tells you in seconds. I don't know that a human could really do that. You'd have to have read everything and lived in that industry, that vertical forever. Mike, there's a lot of fun little techniques like this. The list goes on. You can actually give it your strategic assets, not even public things, but you could just say, here's my ideal client profile. What's missing? Here's my content strategy. What's missing? Here's my LinkedIn profile, you know, and the job description for my ideal job. What's missing? Uh, I think It's a cool way to do analysis because you're not abdicating the things you love about your job. You're just using AI to quickly uncover opportunities to just 10x the quality of whatever you're working on. Uh, I don't know. Even if you are angry about AI's labor market impact or accuracy or bias or sociological implications. So what? This one, I can't think of a reason that a good marketer would not use those methods.
I couldn't agree more. And I'd like to back up for just a second. Which tool or platforms are you using to do these analyses?
Boy, I'm trying to keep it vanilla. Like you can appreciate this because you and I meet a lot of
Yeah.
people, and I'm trying not to be an advocate for a tool. I'm actually just in all my examples, I just use ChatGPT because it's accessible and people have it. It, but I'm sure there are others. So our friend Jay Bear says, it's about the wizard, not the wand. Uh, I don't know the differences much, and I have not invested in a fancy tool. I'm doing everything with just the off the shelf ChatGPT. Although I do have a paid account, ChatGPT
Right.
Plus. Yep, allows me to upload these full page screenshots. It'll draw charts for me. Another fun trick is, and I think this is only possible with a Plus account, create for me color a colorful heat map matrix that shows the extent to which I met or did not meet the information needs of my visitor. And then makes a chart that shows like your visitor's prioritized information needs on the left. And then like like colored cells to show like, ooh, that's bright red. I think I need to update my page. Like some of these things are like, how come you didn't talk about, you know, post-launch support, or, the service warranties are, there's across industries, there's some common things, but mostly it's different depending on the brand and on the audience.
That's really fascinating. And you make a good point. As of the moment, as of the time of recording this, you need to have a paid ChatGPT account or probably a paid any platform account or do this level of analysis. This isn't simple AI, generative AI kind of stuff. We want it to be able to look at entire websites and pages. We want it to be able to look at images and understand and comprehend
Mhm.
the information that's in there. So you need to spend a little bit of money, but not a lot. We're talking with Andy Crestodina, folks, about identifying and addressing the kinds of content gaps that can really impact your marketing. And I've got a few more questions for Andy that you're not going to want to miss. But first, I'd like to share with you a quick message about my preferred AI tool, Magi. This episode of AI and Marketing Unpacked is brought to you by Magi, your gateway to making generative AI incredibly simple and accessible. Wondering how to seamlessly integrate AI into your marketing strategy without getting bogged down by complexities? That's exactly where Magi shines. It provides user friendly AI solutions that empower marketers just like you to innovate and elevate your campaigns without needing a degree in data science. Imagine having the power to generate creative content, insightful marketing data analysis, or even personalized customer communication is all at the touch of a button. Magi isn't just about providing tools, it's about transforming your approach to marketing with AI that's tailor made to be straightforward and effective. So, whether you're looking to boost your content creation process or want deeper insights into your marketing performance, Magi makes it all possible with a few clicks. No fuss, no hassle, just results. Ready to simplify your AI journey? Visit Magi today to learn how their solutions can revolutionize the way you engage with your audience. Don't just market smarter with Magi. Tap the link in the show notes. So you mentioned earlier you're using AI to improve the things that you're already doing, a lot of the work that you're already doing. How has AI kind of improved the outcomes when it comes to addressing these kinds of gaps?
Boy, I wish I had better measurement for these things. It's just become part of a process, so I don't have a lot of pre-post data to show the before and after of a conversion optimization improvement specifically from AI. But all of our projects are all about improving the cheese in the mousetrap. We built sites that are optimized to rank in search and optimized to convert visitors into leads. So I'm used to seeing big lift from these kinds of things. What AI did and what it's doing for a lot of us is just becoming one more step in a process to double check to confirm that we didn't miss anything. Eventually, I'll be able to publish the difference in an AI powered conversion copywriting process versus one that's all human. I'm a bit squeamish about that now because it's still unclear to what extent our audiences want us to use AI.
Mm.
This is a question for you, Mike. I mean, when do you is the buyer ready to hear a message that says, "Of course, we use AI for research for every project," or are they more, concerned that we're using AI and would rather have us do everything by hand? Still unknown.
Yeah, and it definitely depends on who you're talking to, right? Is it someone who's been following AI? And to your point earlier, maybe they're concerned about the sociological impact of
Yep.
artificial intelligence, or maybe they're concerned about privacy and they're like, wait a minute, you're putting our data into a page, even though
Oh
you're
yeah.
making a public facing, website and who cares? Everyone else can see it. But still, there are those potential concerns, or you've got people like me that be like, yeah, do it. I want to see what it can do. I want to see how much better it can perform. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, it's a fun time to be. It's also in flux, right? To what extent should service providers put AI into their marketing messages? I actually did a tiny survey about this, partnered with Question Pro. We got 1,100 people to answer this survey. It's like, you know, do you want your doctor to use AI? You know, no, I want an all human doctor, or I want a human doctor that uses AI to check, or I want an AI doctor checked by a human, or I want a robot doctor. And it looks like there's 30 some percent of people are still preferring the all human approach, uh, which is strange because really AI has been baked into a lot of things for a long time. People say that 30% of people want their airline pilot to just be human, even though airplanes are mostly flown through computers. Like your pilot's not really flying the plane as much as you might think. So I think that there's consumers still don't even know yet, just how these things are becoming part of the best practices for service providers across all kinds of categories.
So let's talk about that. Let's talk about misperceptions in content marketing specifically. That's our area of our expertise.
Yeah.
What are some of the common misconceptions that people are kind of floating around or they're worried about when it comes to AI and content marketing that you'd like to address?
I think that there is that they appear on both ends of the spectrum. There are marketers who think that AI simply cannot write high quality content, and there are readers who think that you know AI AI driven content is going to ruin the internet. Uh, I think that really the job of the strategist is to ask what's the right tool for the right job. We've always used tools, right? People have used Grammarly forever. There's all spell check, and tools have helped us do writing forever. Where I think the one of the um, I did a post recently that said there is such thing as commodity content, and for certain things, you should AI should do them. Humans should not do them. If you need 1,000 alt tags to make your site more accessible for people with disabilities, you should not write those. There are tools that will write 1,000 alt tags for you in half an hour, and then your site's more accessible. Other things are human only, right? You have a personal point of view. AI doesn't really have opinions, right? You can say like, this is the right way to do something. That's the wrong way to do something. Those are feelings like, and sometimes like, again, there are mundane topics like the Oxford comma. Everyone's got an opinion. Just hearing those syllables, Oxford comma, you got triggered, right? We all do.
Yep.
So I posted this thing and there were people who said, there's no such thing as commodity content. Everything should always be done by humans. Okay. And there's other like AI advocates and evangelists who are saying, no, AI does have opinions. Really? What does AI care about deeply? You know, nothing. Ask it. It has no personal experience. It cares about nothing. So in this post, I actually put you might like this. Do you remember the scene in Good Will Hunting when Robin Williams and Matt Damon are on the park bench and he said, you know, the doctor, the therapist was like, you know, I thought of something, which is that you're just a kid. You have no experiences, right? If I asked you about war, you'd quote Shakespeare, or if I asked you about love, you'd throw a sonnet at me. But you've never been vulnerable. You've never had a life experience. You don't have any. You don't know what it smells like in the Sistine Chapel. That's AI. It has no
Mhm.
life experience. It has no real point of view. It has no perspective or opinion or thoughts. AI cannot create thought leadership content because thought leadership creates tension. It's about sticking your neck out, right? Taking a chance, planting a flag. What is AI going to argue about? Well, what is it for? What is it against? What does it believe? What does it not that you have to try very hard to prompt it to give an opinion type answer, but I don't think AI cares about anything at all. You and I care about tons of things, Mike, right? We're gonna meet up and we're we're gonna get a cocktail and you know
Yep.
you like one and I like one and we have points of view and the smell and the flavor and the background and the story behind that, right? This is the human experience. AI cannot create thought leadership content. That's my assertion. And humans should not create commodity content. That's my assertion. But there's people who would disagree with both of those, which is fun. Let's have the debate.
That's funny because I did see that post, but I didn't see all the commentary. So I didn't see that
Mm,
back and forth that was going, which is fascinating. But to your point, yeah, I found a tool that I'm using in my website that identifies for me once I publish a new piece of content, all the other old articles that could link to that brand new piece of content. And it helps me identify places within that new piece of content to link back to all the old content.
wow. That's awesome.
Obviously, I can do that. I've been talking to people about deep linking and forward linking for over a decade, but do I take the time to go back and edit 40 pieces of content to link to a brand new piece? Of course not. Of course not. So the AI is truly helping there. That's kind of an example, but I'd love for you to share just a real quick examples of what you mean by commodity content. I want to make sure people are clear about that.
Yeah. Something where it's not mostly for your typical visitor or for mostly for humans. Here's an example. You a large these are pretty obvious examples, but a large scale website, there are 10,000 URLs, you do a crawl, and there's 600 URLs that have no meta description. Okay. Someone should write 600 meta descriptions, go look at these pages and summarize the pages with 155 word summaries for meta descriptions. Why should a human waste their life doing that? Or I knew a woman once who spent a month writing e-commerce product descriptions for minor variations of color and size, like it was a weird site where those were different URLs. What? Why would anybody do that? YouTube descriptions, I would argue, are not mostly for humans. Sure, some people will click, but it's not. Or we're on a podcast. I'll give you an example for podcasting. I'm an insomniac. So many of us are. If I can't sleep, I listen to a sleep podcast. The sleep podcast I listen to has a little custom thumbnail for every episode. It's like this guy reading like these boring old stories about, detective novel stuff, right? In a very calming voice. It's like a hypnosis podcast where he reads boring books. I love it. But that custom thumbnail, if you look at them, they're AI generated. Why not? Would you pay an artist $600? That's the low end, $1,000 to make a human handmade painting to be the custom thumbnail for each episode of your sleep podcast? No one chooses a sleep podcast based on those images, right? So it's not an important thing. It's not key to the
Yeah.
function of it's adjacent to the piece. It's like my example in that article was hotel room art. I hope to God no human has hand painted every piece of art in these 600 room hotels. Those should be prints, right? It's commodity. It's not, you didn't choose the room for the art. Anyway,
Hopefully.
yeah, hopefully. That's
Yeah.
the
No,
idea.
that's fantastic. Yeah. No, I appreciate that perspective. Yes, I couldn't agree with you more. Now I want to kind of change the direction of the conversation a little bit, make it a little more forward thinking. What are you excited about or even scared about that you might be thinking is coming with AI, particularly in marketing, just in the next 6 to 12 months? Because I can't ask anybody to look more than 12 months out because they're just going to be dead wrong.
Yeah. Uh, I believe that every day, thousands of people are discovering that to get simple answers for basic questions, that a browser plus search engine plus website is not a good way to do that. It's very noisy. You download a lot of files you didn't need. There's lots of marketing tracking codes you just put on your device. You got a lot of it's visually a disaster. Pop-up windows and accept cookies and block notifications and sticky headers and footers and videos on top of videos. It's a mess, especially on mobile. We are all slowly learning that AI apps are a great use case, simpler, faster, lighter weight, more private, just easier ways to get simple answers to questions. So, along with Gartner, predicted a 25% drop in total global search volume. In other words, a 25% decrease in the use of search engines and accordingly, like a drop in the use of browsers probably. I think that the use of search engines will decline for many use cases for looking for information intent queries. We're going to prompt instead of querying, and that AI will change how humans use the internet, even in the next 6 to 12 months. And that if that's concerning for you, if you get a lot of search traffic, keep in mind some of that stuff that you're getting traffic from might just be basic human knowledge that nobody should have been able to monetize to begin with. And also, AI might become a source of traffic. Go look at your analytics. You might be getting traffic from AI websites because there are citations and people do want to click to look at the source and get a sense for who that publisher was, or, is that a supported thing? How credible is that thing they found within AI? So I predict that there'll be a shift for many use cases from browser plus search plus website just simply to an AI app because it's just a far, far better experience, especially on mobile.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. I started to see perplexity.com
Yep.
and some other providers as a referral source. But I know exactly what you're talking about. My number one trafficked article for the last decade has been how to mention and tag people on Facebook. It's ridiculous. I don't know why I wrote that huge tactical guide years ago,
Oh,
but
great.
it has nothing to do
Like,
with
I
my
gotta ask
business.
that. Yeah, yeah. So let me ask, would you be heartbroken if you got less traffic to that post?
Today, no. 10 years ago, when I thought it was important that I was writing and
Yeah.
documenting all these things, yeah. But looking back now, I realize that article is not leading to business. It's not. It's general Facebook users who probably aren't even business owners who don't know how to tag somebody on Facebook. That's not my target audience. That's who's flooding to the site. I mean, hundreds of people every single day are coming to learn how to mention somebody or remove a tag because my ex-boyfriend tagged me on a picture. It's ridiculous. And it's not helping me.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's a perfect example, I think, of the kind of question that AI will hopefully help these people. And so, yeah,
Yeah,
I'm going to see less
it
traffic,
should.
but it's not going to impact my actual business.
It won't.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you. That's a key point, and I should have gone there right away. What I'm finding is that the pages on these websites, and I have access to 500 analytics accounts. The pages on these websites that are less impacted by the drop in click-through rates from search, and by the way, click-through rates from search have been dropping for 5 years or longer. Those pages are the commercial intent phrases that bring people to the money pages that have from which the visitors do convert, very low impact because those visitors had visit website intent. If the visitor's trying to go to a website, they'll still use search and they'll still click and they'll still land and they still may convert. So mostly the impact in the drop in traffic from Google generally making search results so noisy, or from visitors moving from search to AI, is going to affect the vanity metric of top line traffic, which is mostly from information intent phrases to simple, helpful, basic information blog posts. Of course, that will go away, but I don't think it's going to affect lead gen for most brands.
Yeah, yeah. Another post was how to link to a Facebook post. Okay, great. People come to that site, my blog, they learn, right mouse click the date, and then you got it. And then they're back, and then they never come to my site again. But yeah, that's something, I work my day jobs at Agora Pulse, and this is something we're identifying and talking through. How do we create, more bottom of funnel content? Content that to your point, people have actual search intent,
Yep.
but hopefully intent to buy once they
Yep.
click through on that kind of a search query.
That's what matters. And that's that content gap thing I started with was all about that.
Exactly.
How to convert people who have, the commercial intent visitor who needs what you do. Like that's the game. Like those pages are worth not just 10x, like 100x or more to your brand. Just go into GA4, create a comparison showing visitors who started on a blog post versus visitors who started on a service page, and then just scroll down and look at the conversion. Now it's called the key event rate. Look at the key event rate. It's like 10 to 20x on most accounts that I'm seeing. It's so that's really where we should be working hardest. And by the way, when that page is just more detailed and comprehensive, that's also training the AI in the future. Think of you because your page said everything about what you do. There's another implication for AI is that we have to think about the content we put out there as actually training data for the next version of these AI tools. And as such, your site had better be the number one place for everything related to your brand. You need to answer every question that you can about your company. Your LinkedIn profile should be less exhaustive than your team bio page, right? Your that directory listing or your My Business page, whatever the hours, the company size, or your revenue, or number of employees, like that, your site should be by far the most informative place on the internet. That's going to train the AI, and that's going to make you a better landing page for that visitor.
Such a huge point. Thanks for bringing it all back around to content gaps. That's fantastic. What final advice, tips, or best practices do you have for marketers who are kind of working to get up to speed with AI, whether it's personally or professionally?
If you're on a team, I would create a shared prompt library. Ours is just in Google Docs. So the prompts that you know to be effective and you've kind of battle tested them, move them from the folder of beta prompts into the, you know, ready for prime time, approved prompts, and then make sure that everyone has access to those. Uh, I think also it's a good time to experiment with tools. You mentioned a sponsor. I'm going to be looking at that. That's an excellent. We all need to kind of keep an open mind about what we're using, and it's such a dynamic era we're in. So don't be too hesitant to, jump into another use case and another tool. Uh, I also think that we shouldn't worry as much as people say about the memory of AI. If you upload your GA4 data, which has no personally identifiable information in it anyway, I do that a lot. I upload GA4 data to AI only from my own account. But in my experience, it doesn't remember stuff for very long at all. So I would disabuse yourself of the fear that if you uploaded, your social media marketing data, or your analytics from whatever tool, that someone else is going to be able to see it someday. No way. I mean, go make a sandwich, come back and ask it if it still remembers. It probably forgot. So I am completely unafraid of AI's long-term memory. In my experience, it's pretty awful.
Yeah, that's a great point. And to kind of underscore that, one of the things I tell people a lot is to make sure that you've got some kind of committee, probably more than one
Mm,
person at least, internally that's thinking about how your entire team is using AI and looking at the tools, looking at the policies and the processes. Make sure that somebody isn't experimenting with sharing proprietary information
right.
on an open AI or an open chat bot. To your point, probably not going to be a big deal today, but you never know. And you need to have somebody who's paying attention to that, just like you'd have somebody in a larger organization paying attention to any tool that you might subscribe to, making sure, oh, wait, we don't need three different subscriptions to this same tool. We can add a team member. Those are the kinds of things that I think more and more people need to be doing. So I appreciate that you brought that up. Andy, this has been absolutely fantastic. I
No,
know
it's
we
so
just
great to hang
scratched
out.
the surface for all this stuff. For folks who want to learn more about you and follow your journey with AI, where can they go to find you?
Well, Mike, you and I are members of a lot of the same communities. So come hang out with both of us at an event where we kind of travel in that same world, the, you know, marketing process B2B forum, content marketing world, social media marketing world, and a lot of those that all the related places. So we are the ones who show up. So you can find us in person at those, all over. But online, I would say LinkedIn is my best social network. So feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. There's a follow button, but you can skip that and click the dots and go to the connect button if you want to chat with me and with a D. Orbitmedia.com is where I publish everything I publish first. I write one article every 2 weeks, and you can find it. And if you subscribe there, you'll get them all first. Other than that, reach out if we can help with anything related to websites. Orbit is a digital agency 100% focused on web development and website optimization. I've got a book, I've got a YouTube channel, all the things, Mike, all the places, the usuals.
Terrific. Thank you, Andy. We'll have all those links in the show notes. And he's right. He and I first met in person at Content Marketing World in 2015, folks.
Mm.
So I've had the pleasure of running into Andy multiple times since then. But that's all we've got for today. Don't forget to please find the podcast AI and Marketing Unpacked on Apple and leave us a review. We'd love to know what you think. Until next time, welcome to the grid. Thanks for joining us on AI and Marketing Unpacked. I hope today's episode has inspired you and given you actionable insights to integrate AI into your marketing strategies. If you enjoyed the show, then subscribe on your favorite podcast platform and consider leaving a review. We'd love to hear your thoughts and answer any questions you might have. Don't forget to join us next time as we continue to simplify AI and help you make a real impact in your marketing efforts. Until then, keep innovating and see just how far AI can take your marketing. Thank you for listening and have a fantastic day.